Hello. Thank you for being here. We are here, Marques team. I am Marta Aguiar, and I am founder of MAC, an architecture and urbanism office at Porto. And here we are with Mac's team, Mariana Costa.
Okay, sorry.
Continue? Okay, and Mariana, so Mariana is project coordinator at Max, and she's leading Experimenta Paisagem different projects, like Creative Europe, and like this one founded by EE Grants, Experiment Land Stage. And we are also here with Teresa Castro.
Hi.
Teresa Castro is designer and sound expert, and is our production manager, controlling the regie today at this webinar, and she's the one who is behind interactive installations, production of workshops, events. So we are very happy to host this webinar of Experiment Land Stage. We aim to promote today a fruitful discussion about the results of this competition, about workshops, natural is the new normal, and launch the voting section. We are now put another video. So natural is the new normal is one of the activities of this bilateral initiative of Experimenta Paisagem Museum. So Experimenta Paisagem is a project developed by MAG office. And our practice has more than 25 years of experience, and always in this disciplinary intersection between territory, construction, and design. So our practice is particularly diverse and dynamic. In one hand, with particular clients and commissions, we develop a wide range of projects, from houses, refurbishments, object design, factories, and we have the opportunity to deepen our approach to engage to the clients' and users' needs. On the other hand, within a more territorial approach, both with private and public sector, but also with universities, professors, and students, we are continuously challenging new approaches to bring together inhabitants' needs and aspirations, public policies, and knowledge. So our aim is territory and place transformation, and to achieve these transformations, we use really very many different instruments: exhibition and project curatorship, architecture and urban projects, design installations, and with all this variety, we always try to materialize improvements that are meaningful for place and inhabitants. So this practice is anchored in the experience of my father, who was architect and also urbanist. And I think his greatest legacy was to drive transformation through strategies with immediate impacts, but also long-term impacts. So we are always searching new ways of conducting transformation with participatory processes and recovering a sense of belonging between contemporaneity and heritage. So this project of Experimenta Landstage is funded by EE grants and contributes to this museum, Experimenta Paisagem Museum. That is a museum without all walls in the interior central territories of Portugal. It is an open access museum for integrated exploration of contemporary creation and cultural landscapes of this region. The long-term objective of this museum is to contribute to a sustainable development of these territories. So the first phase of this museum was implemented by MAG between 2019 and 2021, and within this pilot project, we developed the curatorship of the museum, but also these 5 landscape artworks that we are now seeing, and that you can also visit in the center of Portugal. These 5 and a cultural trail and the first festival, Cortiçada Art Festival. So in these 5 artworks are Farol dos Ventos that we are now seeing, the mountain that is signaling the transition between highlands and the south. It is also Véu in the transition of the rural and urban landscape of Sertã that we are now seeing over the river, above the river. Moongate that is built in Reising because it is a resource of the region and is in Oleiros, and Magmacella that was made in schist that went to the oven and it expanded schist in Conqueiros, and finally the Girl of the Fears that is a part of this cultural trail with QR codes where you can hear the stories of places by local inhabitants or even by experts. So within this background and with projects like this one, with students, with professions and professors, we aim to contribute to change this region, destiny, to create a destiny international of art and landscape and a cultural hub. So we are now going through this webinar, Natural is a New Normal. We are going first to present the 4 groups, each one with 5 minutes, and then to hear the NT and U teachers and students' comments, and then we'll close the webinar and invite all to vote. But first, I'll give the word to Mariana for a more detailed explanation of this project and webinar. So, Mariana.
Hi. Okay. So let's make a short resume about why are we here, how this webinar Natural is New Normal come up. So Experimenta Paisagem is transforming itself in a museum. In 2023, Experimenta Paisagem Museum is developing a bilateral initiative with Norway and Portuguese partners. The Experiment Landstage, as already Marta explained. Natural is New Normal are some of the activities of this initiative, with students from both countries. The bilateral initiative aims to join students, architects that we have already here today, citizens, technicians, entrepreneurs, and politicians to create and test new solutions to use natural resources to build and design better objects and spaces for living, increasing the quality of life of Portuguese and Norwegian communities. How? With cooperation actions between partners, Rintala Egersten Architects, sorry for my English, from Norway, and us, MAG, Marques de Aguiar Arquitetura e Urbanismo, and Camilo Rebelo, associados from Portugal. The idea is to spread the use of cork and wood, natural resources from each country, and to boost reaching sustainable solutions for the climate change challenges. The results of the workshops will be disseminated in experiment land stage toolkit at the end of the initiative. So, fast resume. From April to May, the office, MAG, our office, developed 8 workshops with architecture and design students from Matosinhos at ESAD. We have some students from there today. We'll present them soon. Porto at FAUP, Lisbon at Isqueté, and also Mação with the CLAM students from Polytechnic de Tomar and the Senior University of Mação. In these workshops with architect and design students, we developed ideas and created models for a temporary shelter in line with the Natural is New Normal open calls objectives. In June, the jury, composed by Sami Rintala, Camilo Rebelo, and Marta Aguiar, selected 4 projects from the various proposals submitted. So now, this webinar serves to promote the 4 finalist projects and help the public to choose the winning project. The most voted proposal and on Instagram and Facebook will be the basis for the building to build a shelter, and that shelter will be built during the festival Cortiçada Arte Fest e Grande Wood Edition. That will be from 28 September to the 1st of October. That's exactly 1 month until the festival now. And it will be in Mação. Mação is a village in the interior of Portugal, and that's important. Registration for this festival is still open. If you want to participate, please sign it fast. It's free and we'll have a lot of fun learning moments, and it's a unique opportunity to build, to learn construction techniques and deliver it to the community, to have that experience of build and participate with the community ideas and goals. So now, why will your vote make a difference? Before the festival in Portugal, MAG office team and 2 students from the Open Call winning group will take part in the workshop coordinated by Professor Sami Rintala, that's also here today, you will see he soon, aimed for the NTU and EU students from 13 to 23 of September, so in 2 weeks. Portuguese students will participate in the entirety of the workshop at Svartisen Glacier. So we will take extruded cork, that I have it with me now. And the idea is to create a comfortable space in the Arctic Circle using the natural cork and also wood as a sustainable resource for building and designing new shelters in both countries. Okay, so what must be the selection criteria for the winner proposal? So what kind of things you should prioritize in your criteria? The idea was to design an itinerant shelter for the Experimenta Paisagem Museum following some rules. So the rules: to create the first facility of Experimenta Paisagem Museum, to create a temporary itinerant shelter to be a meeting space in different public spaces, and communicate the values of Experimenta Paisagem Museum. To create a shelter for the outdoor museum activities, such as mountain workshops, dance performance, village celebrations, meetings points for hiking groups, meetings between artists and inhabitants in the squares of towns and cities. So it will be a landmark of Experimenta Paisagem Museum. The shelter will be for 5 to 40 people, and the idea is to use wood and cork with that dimensions that we'll share now. It must be very easy to build, disassemble and transport in a car, and assembly and disassembly by people with no experience in construction like us. The winning project will be the foundation idea for the construction of an itinerant shelter as the first Experimenta Paisagem Museum equipment, as well as earn a trip to Norway to participate in a workshop with architect and professor Sami Rintala. Teresa, please.
Thanks, Mariana. First of all, just a quick thing. I'm being told that some people are trying to get in the webinar, but I ask if you can pass the message that if you are not presenting your work, but if you were part of the workshops or you want to be in the webinar, you have to assist from our Facebook, from our Instagram, or from our YouTube, because we have a limited amount of people that can be inside. Yeah, okay. People are telling me that they're already on Instagram. Thank you. So now we are going to start the presentations. So each of the groups present will have 5 minutes to present, and we will go from project to project. Only after the presentations, we'll have the 10 minutes where the teacher Sami Rintal and Per will and the students present Ben and Edward will comment on the projects, on each project. And also, very important, we would love to invite everybody that is watching us on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook to comment during the presentations, asking for questions, if you have any doubts, if you like the projects, if you anything that comes to your mind, be free to share with us, because in the end we will read the comments and try to make an open discussion with everybody about what was presented. So okay, and then in the end of the end, we will show the voting picture and we will post it on Instagram and tell all the rules and how to vote, etc. So that's it. We can start with the first group. That is Awanda. So who will present from Awanda or Lionel? Okay. Let me add so I can see. There you are.
Can I start the presentation?
Yes.
All right, let me just put in here.
Oops, let's see.
Margarida will present too. I don't know if you can put both of us at the same time, but Margarida will be in here too, so I think that's it. Can you just tell me if everyone is hearing me now? Because I can't see anything from the stream, so.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, nice. So I will start the presentation for Onda. Onda, it's the name that we give to our project. It's you can do a rough translation of Onda to wave, because it's where we are trying to go. So our project is called Onda due to its relationship between the exterior and interior environments and the way the structure is assembled. So on this last point, and when you look at the movement that a sea wave makes, is a fast and especially continuous movement. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's just one big movement, all connected. A project shares the same idea. It's a great movement of expansion or contraction that completes the assembly of Onda. It's also necessary to consider the choice of coating the Onda with a court fabric. Okay, is one of the things that they give us to work. When you look, for example, at a surfer, when it is inside the wave tube, you can still see the sky because at this time he has a filter that the wave creates over him. So the cork fabric in our project create a filter to which the sun rays, they don't pass to inside the structure, but when you look at it, you can see several patches of light, which end up creating a playground of lightning, and is always we always have to have in consider that different environments inside a wonder are created because we are depending on the light that is that the outside provides. There is also a resemblance to nature that tends to form in more organic curves, like we learned in school. So even though the base material that they gave us are straight and tends to call more for orthogonality, I don't know how to say it. Sorry, my English. We created this layer of fabric that creates an organic mantle which cover our false organic curve. I will pass the rest of presentation to Margarida.
The onda integrates two arches that were designed by the union of multiple axes. The axes are the union of two beams. These structures are connected also by axes that support the arches and the cork fabric. This structure works like an interconnected system that when one of the axes opens, the others will automatically open too. So to assemble the shelter, you just have to pull in opposite ways, and the structure will open both vertically and longitudinally, and the curve provides more rigidity and stability. The cork fabric, beyond creating display with lights, is designed to have the space between them so the wind can flow through the structure. One of our concerns was accessibility when transporting, assembling, and dismantling the shelter. We designed a structure that can be carried by 3 or 4 people and assembled by them, taking around 20 minutes. Removing it from the car, unfolding and the structure, and making any additions if necessary. When dismantling it, it reduces considerably in size, fitting into a light car. It is necessary to consider that the onda is made with wood with half of the thickness that was assigned to us. With this, we managed to reach a dimension and weight that is proportional to a common vehicle and its passengers.
So I think it's me again.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, thanks, Margarida. So just to finish, when we designed the Wanda, it was an important factor that the structure maintained a weight capable of being handled by a single car full of people. Through an existing system used in different areas, we managed to create modules that can be added so the shelter can be modified to meet the needs of the users. If these needs are bigger, more modules are added in order to increase the covered area and vice versa. Another detail that we create is the fact that the fabric is fixed from the first assembly and is no longer necessary to remove it when dismantling the shelter, facilitating and reducing the numbers of steps required for a new assembly. And that's it. Thanks, everyone. I will stop the share.
You can show the other slide.
Oh yeah, sorry, totally forgot about it. But here we have just a few measures of the onda. So you can see on the max point 2.5 and on the minimum 1.3, but it's the best.
So, you can get an idea of the proportion. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you'll get in real life is constructed. And that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Leonel and Margarida, for your presentation of onda with this structure that seems like a mechanism with a sequence of hinges that aim to achieve this challenge to go in the car and to be easily assembled by anybody. Thank you very much. So we go to the second group, Concertina.
That's not.
No, they are not
No,
here.
no, we have Bruna. Which one of you will?
No, but I think that's Bruna.
Yeah, Bruna is here. Bruna
okay.
Ferreira
It's true.
and
Sorry.
Beatriz. Sorry, which one of you is Beatriz?
Beatriz. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Beatriz.
Cristina.
E qual é a outra rapariga?
Bruna.
Está, é a Bruna. Ok.
Beatriz and Bruna. Okay, you're on.
Hi everyone, my name is Beatriz Viegas and I'm a student from ESAL. I'm here to present my group project for the Natural is a New Normal contest. Our project is inspired by a musical instrument called concertina. This instrument is similar to an accordion and it is very connected to the Portuguese popular music. Just like a concertina, our shelter expands and contracts in size, which means that each module can have two different configurations. The first one is the one we see here, where the structure is more open, and the second one is this one where the structure is more closed. This shelter is formed by three main elements. The first one is the structure. The structure is made with wooden beams. The second element is the benches. We have one on each side of the structure. They are also made with wooden beams, but they are also combined with cork blocks. The last element is the cover of the shelter. This cover is made from strips of textile. This adds movement, delicacy, and fluidity to the shelter by creating a contrast with the wooden beams and their stability and rigidity. We wanted our shelter to be versatile and adaptable to different environments. So that's the reason why we decided to design it with models. Depending on the number of participants for each event, the shelter can have from 1 up to 6 modules. They can also be arranged in various ways, attending to the type of site and the type of event that is being planned. Here we have some examples of ways that we can organize the shelter. The modules can work individually, but they also can work together. In this image, the shelter is arranged in a straight line, and all of the 6 modules are used and are connected. This configuration can be used, for instance, following the direction of a street or in a bridge. Here we have 2 other examples. The first one on the left, where the shelter can be, for example, a meeting point for the people of a village or a city, where they can get together and share ideas or simply just enjoy the landscape and their surroundings. In the second one on the right, the shelter is on both sides of a square, and in the middle there is an empty space where a performance or an outdoor lecture can take place. In the end, we wanted the shelter to be a landmark that would transform the landscape and bring people together so we could give them a place to share and exchange ideas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Beatriz and Bruna, for your presentation of concertina, of this interesting proposal with a portico structure with a counterbalance of a bench, thinking together shadow and sitting. Thank you very much. So we're going to the next group.
Do obrigaram.
Do obrigaram. Qual de vocês é que vai fazer? Eu vou pôr aqui o Jorge.
Inês. Sorry.
Vamos apresentar os três.
Miguel.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. I hope you are liking the webinar and the contest also. My group is the group 11 and our name is From Shelter 2. It is composed by me, Marta and Miguel Oliveira.
Just a second. George, can you put the...
In display mode. Modo
You
da
are not
apresentação.
seeing?
Modo da apresentação, o slide.
Oh. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
And now?
Yeah.
Sorry. As I was saying, and today we are going to present our project, which was put a lot of effort, creativity, and sensibility to reach out our final idea, doable by any kind of person, especially young students with zero experience on construction. As you can see, the approach chosen to respond to this project was the development and construction of a simple, versatile, and aesthetic model. For its visual character, were contemplated the various ways of the materials available, giving use of the wooden beams, the dense blocks of cork, and the flexible textile also in cork. These kinds of features and materials results in a strong visual identity, even when the model is isolated in the territory or reaggruppated with the many copies only in a whole. How was this model developed? Taking as a fundamental concern its process of assembly, disassembly, and transportation, it was clear early on the need to avoid fitting using nails or definitive solutions that will delay or compromise this process. As you can see in our assembly process, the animation shows us how we can assemble really fast our model and then repeat the process. A modular piece was then designed that offers the occupant a floor raised from the ground, a multi-purpose intermediate structure, and also a possibility of covering to shelter either from the rain or the sun. These same constructive steps were respected in the construction of a full-scale prototype, validating this methodology. The pallet-style structure that serves as a floor is the only element that uses nails. However, this piece comes already pre-assembled, as you can see on the second graphic.
The decision to design a module comes from the intention to take advantage of the versatile character that a solution of this nature has to offer. The module is itself capable of opening up to the sky or sheltering from it through a system of moving parts. It serves as a shelter, but also as an exhibitor for paintings, information panels, or large screens. The skin that covers it also allows it to present a very varied stereotomy through a dance between this flexible material and its more fixed wooden structure. Wind interacts with it as well in a natural way. Punctuate. In isolation, it works as an information post, meeting point for groups, and trail marker. Through a modular repetition exercise, we can design other typologies. In this case, isolate closed on itself, providing with a more introspective and private character, for example, for meetings or sessions of meditation and connection with the present moment, easily deployed in any type of enclosure. Number 3, celebrate, a wider solution for programs such as performances or local markets, activities with a larger audience in places such as squares or historic centers. Number 4, follow, a more extensive composition in order to follow trails or draw new routes, being able to narrate a story or exhibit an art collection, thus allowing this architecture to be immersed by more challenging and narrow spaces. Number 5, unveil, for a more immersive walking experience, this tunnel-style composition that can be applied to streets and historical parts of the village, completely sheltered from rain, wind, and sun. And finally, number 6, rest. Valuing the landscape, this last solution aims to frame and use as scenario a particular perspective of its surroundings, such as a waterline, a plain, a mountain, a valley, or a viewpoint of the village, as a background for events like lectures, dances, or other type of activity in which a deep connection with the surroundings is sought. Closing on all other sides, the vision is guided to a single direction.
From an early stage, we understood that this project challenged us to think beyond one place and one purpose, that the answer will be a flexible and adaptive architecture, able to dive and dance through the streets, squares, beaches, trails, and nature, that will soon be the stage of Cortiçada Art Fest. Its location and artist is unique and deserves an architecture that values it as such. This is our proposal, from a shelter to everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jorge, Marta, and Miguel, for a presentation of Do Abrigo Para, From Sheltering to, with this self-supporting module with versatile uses and different forms of displaying. Now we are going to the next group.
The next group.
Catavento.
No.
Yeah, this is the group that nobody arrived yet, right?
Okay.
From the last group.
So
Yes, okay.
it ends the group presentation.
Yes.
We have already 3 groups presenting. So, okay. So maybe now we would like to invite.
Yes, now we'd like to invite the professors, teachers, Simon Ridala and Per Bernstein, and the students, Edward and Ben, to develop the comments for these 3 presentations. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening to everybody. From near Bodø, North Norway, there's a place called Bayern Valley, and we are having a workshop here with NTNU Trondheim Designing Context. Master Studio is the name of the game. And I'm Sami Rintala, one of the teachers.
And I'm Per Bernstein, also one of the teachers and the course leader.
I'm Ben Shanks. I'm one of the students of the course and one of the ones who will be part of the workshop that the eventual chosen project will be joining.
And I'm Edward Carbonell, an exchange student who is also in this group.
And yeah, it's an interesting task that you are presenting, and of course, I have seen the proposals before because we were already electing the 4 last ones. And a pity that the last one is not appearing, but I guess we have to discuss about these 3 that were showing up. So I think we were kind of commenting already while we were showing them and kind of looking at the structures and the materials, and we all understand that the task is not very easy because architecture, when you make something that is solid and doesn't need to move, it's quite easy. But when it starts to move and you put it together and transport, it becomes really complicated because the details then start playing a bigger role. So understanding this, it's very easy to make remarks on the sideline, but when you start building something like that, you realize it's very difficult. And in fact, the last task before Christmas in this course is quite similar task that what you are presenting. So we are doing something a bit similar, but in a different kind of function. But coming to the individual, I'd like to also hear other people's comments from here. Do you want us to move one by one the projects, or in general comments?
To be interesting one by one, I think so, yes. No?
Yes, maybe we can start with the first, with Wanda.
The wave.
Yeah, maybe if you can open up the presentation a little bit, it's if it's possible, or
Aquela imagem de quadro, se calhar.
Okay, just
yeah. Do you want the students to share again the screen, or
maybe we can put the image with the four projects?
We have this.
Wanda is the first one.
yeah, we were kind of discussing that this project especially is very dependent on the details, how the wood pieces are joined together. So it would be very nice to kind of see that. We believe in the kind of scissoring, opening and closing system, but then how they are really joined together is a kind of question.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's connected to two separate pieces.
Eles querem ver mais imagens de como é que...
Can the students show any more images from the project? I don't know if you have them at hand or not, just to show a little bit more, some details.
Yes, and if you want to answer.
We see the concept, but we wonder how developed the structure is. And it would be very nice to see the joinery, because there's as Sami is saying that we believe in the scissor concept, but there is also beams going in the longitudinal direction, and it would be very interesting to see how this joinery is solved. So we are moving beyond the concept and into a possible structure.
You also mentioned that some of the joints were made of metal rather than wood. Is it all of the joints are made out of metal, or is there half and half, or is it wood elements here and there?
Can I answer the question? I'm from Onda.
Yes.
So I have in here a few more images in PDF, the ones that I sent to the first ones. I don't know if you want me to show to you again, or
Yeah,
I just can I show them?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. If you open, just give me a little bit. Right, this one. I think this one may work. It's on PDF, but it's what we have now, so it may work. So we have here the draws that we use to submit the project to the event. They are drawn by hand, like you can see, because our group is from the second year so far, so we don't use much computer yet. So it was kind of amazing that we were able to do this. You ask about the main structure. This one in here, I think if it is metal or if it isn't metal. So we put it in metal, the main frame that connects all the woods together to do the the first movement and the longitudinal movement. It doesn't need to be metal. It can be in wood. At the moment, we put in metal, but next we think about wood, etc. But already the time was up, so we stick to metal. Why metal? So the metal was my idea. I put in metal because I have a few experience in construction, so not architecture, but home stuff, etc. Little things you do. So it was only thinking about the safety of the structure. I'm thinking about the wind that can make, because it's a big structure, like you can see. And yes, you have little spaces beneath the cork, the fabric cork, to let the air pass and the wind. But I was thinking that if the wind is too strong, it may break, and it's not going to break in the boards. It probably is going to break on the junction of the boards. It's the weakest point at my view. So I stuck to metal. The simple, that's it. And someone asked me the way that all the structure closed and stay together. That's a part more for Margarita, but I think I can explain. When we designed, we didn't build it like 101 scale, 105 scale, because it's a big thing. So we thought about it when it's closed, when you see a junction close, and just go faster in here. We have this is the junctions, the different views from the junction, and this is the way the woods are connected. It's mainly because of this type of screw, is the main thing. Where I have this screw is in here. So this is the thing that holds together all the woods. When it's closed, it's supposed to look like this, and the rest is a connection of different pieces that you are seeing in here. And at the end, it will something look like this. It's the way the woods like they get together and they all stay in a big piece of, like, how can I explain this? Will be mainly like a big box when you close everything together. It will mainly look like a big box, and this is the top of the box. We didn't draw, and something like that. When you look from the side of the box, we all just be together and everything together. We believe it will work because the way we get the woods, like, and we separate them, and you see in the image they are not too close, and it lets the movement of the wood, all the movement that the wood needs to do to get in the spot that is need to be. We try it, and it gets there, and the wood doesn't get in the way of the other parts of the structure. It's just a complex way of getting the woods to the right spot, mainly. That's it. I don't know how I can explain this any better. My English is not good, so sorry.
That's fine.
It's basically a metallic T, so every beam can move freely. So
yeah, mainly.
So
Yeah. Thank you, Lionel and Margarita, for an elaborate explanation. It would be maybe a good idea. I understand why you didn't build the whole structure. It would be quite a task to do a full-size build of a structure, but it could be very interesting to see studies of the joints in one-to-one format. So you could see the weakness and strength, and also the challenge in constructing the joints in the way you have proposed. So the drawing in 2D is one thing, but to see it 3D and do it in reality with the metal and the wood and trying to fix it together, I would recommend that. To learn that, to test the ideas and so on. And you will get very far by that and not building the whole structure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe now we can
move to the next group.
The concertina.
I'm gonna put the image. And the concertina is
Beatriz and Bruno.
Beatriz and Bruna. Okay.
So I think that's a kind of simple and elegant solution, and creating this kind of different kind of spaces. And we also studied the structure a little bit, noticing that there are some diagonal supports also tying things together, so it looks believable structure. And also the way the textile is woven in the roof is quite nice. It kind of uses the textileness of it, so we like that a lot. A little bit unsure whether the bench just laying there would keep it all together then, for instance. So is there any connection there between the bench and the rest of the structure, or is it just laying on top?
Between the benches and the
And the rest
structure.
of the structure. So are you just laying the pieces of wood
The
on top of
benches,
the?
they have screws,
Mm.
so they are screwed to the structure. Bruna, queres mostrar? We are going to show some images that can show you better how it works.
Acho que estou a fazer certo. Está a partilhar. Óbvio.
Sim.
Sim. Queres ver a parte do banco?
Sim, tipo zooma.
Ok, peraí. Acho que não dá para dar zoom aqui.
Can you see?
Yeah. Yes.
So the benches are connected to the structure by screws. And this works in modules, so this is one module. So the modules are not connected in the benches. They are connected. Bruna, vai para baixo. Mais.
Can you go back a little bit?
Vai para cima.
A little bit more?
Oeste.
Yeah. Is this a first idea? Because you have the support of the bench is a vertical member and then a horizontal member, and on the following ID, it seems to be a diagonal holding the bench. If you move on more the image ahead, move to the next slide. Yeah, you see here it's
No, it seems
it is the same. Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Standard.
Oh, okay. I noticed that if you call it post leaning towards each other, is making a sort of triangle and a promise of a stable structure. But when you are looking at the benches, I wonder if they are able to take the horizontal load in the what's the length direction? In the longitudinal direction. Do you see it to be stable in that direction? Because if there's people sitting on it, and there's room for or the room for several people to sit there, what would be the structure's capacity to handle the longitudinal load?
Yeah, we projected this with our professors, and they are architects, so they helped us, and I think he said that it was okay. So
yeah, Yeah, it can work. We are just a little bit unsure about it, so
Okay.
it looks like that there's quite a few pieces of wood holding the load of the sitting people. So that's the question in a way. But every time you are creating a triangular structure out of wood, you are already one step towards a very good structure. So you have many triangles here. Maybe when you open up the structure as a whole, the support between the benches is quite few. So that's maybe would be my question, is that you need a support in the middle as well.
Yes.
Otherwise it starts
Okay.
hanging a little bit. But this is just depending also on the wood. Maybe you have a little bit harder wood in Portugal than we have, because we have quite soft wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to point that this model is really like self-centered. The benches like look into each other, and maybe opening towards the outside would have been a really good idea to further develop this model, not only on the space it encloses, but on its
Okay.
orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Adding benches also on the outside of the structure, that's an interesting idea. And then it would have balanced a little bit the weight load on the poles. Just these kind of comments.
Yeah, so maybe if you don't screw and did something which was fixable, you can have like either benches on the inside or on the outside, and then share loads according to whatever you're doing in that moment. That's a really versatile structure and really like nice. So well
Okay.
done.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe now we can go to do Abrigarao, our last group present here today, with Jorge, Miguel, and Marta. I don't know if you want. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
I mean, my first comment when I saw this was immediately, it reminds me of a loom, which I think very much suits what the brief of the project is. And it definitely, through the various images that you used to sell the project to us, was shown to be very versatile. We did, however, see, it seems like we do admire that you made the entire thing in one-to-one, representing that you could very easily build it with your skill sets, and that others could probably build and assemble the pavilion quite easily themselves. We did see, however, to create the formations that you represented, you would need quite a lot of them. And I was wondering personally, would that affect the material amount used, or is it similar to other pavilions?
So thank you for the question. If I may answer, the calculations we have made to the quantity of the material was one of the first steps when we thought about this concept, because it wouldn't make much sense if we could make one module well done, but then we wouldn't have enough amount of material to deploy different typologies. So with the calculations, with all of the material that it's available, the same quantity for the other projects and teams as well, we are able to produce all the typologies that we presented with every single piece that's visible there. And we have a catalog. If you may want to see it, I can ask George we have a PDF with that catalog, with every single piece, with every single cut and number of pieces that would be required to come up with a total amount of the typologies, one at a time, obviously. George, maybe you can share the PDF that we sent during the deadline in the first phase of the contest we have there. Okay, maybe can you zoom a little bit so it's more visible? Maybe a bit more. So this is just to serve as maybe a proof of thought that we counted material by material and piece by piece and dimension by dimension to make sure we are not making up extra material.
Okay, we believe you. Thank you.
Okay,
I think in a way that the other two groups are making one bigger structure out of the materials, while you are making a kind of furniture, a smaller structure, and then by repeating that furniture, you are creating the bigger space. And I feel it's quite clever for these materials, which is quite thin wood and quite fragile textile, that you don't over expand them, but you kind of go into the smaller scale with them and then repeat and make a bigger scale. So I think it's a very good idea, and you are also impressing us with the images showing how many ways you would put it together and create these kind of urbanistic spaces, really. But a little bit, just if I want to say one negative thing, is that I would have studied maybe the object itself even a little bit more to make on the same level than the rest of the presentation. So, but I think it's a very good project.
Thank you.
I'll add that it's a really great object, and it's, as they said, a really good idea to think in a smaller scale to make a bigger scale. Though I think it has a really great linear aggregation. When it comes to the corner, it looks like you kind of overlap. I couldn't see really well on the presentation because it was kind of small. Maybe if you can zoom in or explain how you solve the corner, because it's always an issue.
Definitely the corner, it's a bit more of a trickier part in this sense, because we are working with, we also in the beginning wanted to offer some sort of platform where people could walk over. So in that moment, and also in the moment of the covering itself from above, we can extract the roof as well, the platform where we step in. And because they work as squares, movable pieces, so we can remove them and just keep the vertical planes touching diagonally in between them. For the moving parts going up and going down, just or to cover from the sun and rain, or just to be open to the sky, we can either do it manually, or if we use some sort of just a cord just to push it. We can also entangle them diagonally with that type of material if needed, just maybe in cases of high winds or. But basically, and with the building of the 1-to-1 scale, which was very important, we built this in a way thinking that if we make a platform and we make it in the right way with the pieces in the right sequence, if we put people on top of the platform, that will help fixing the structure down. So the more people are going over the platforms and around these compositions, the more stable and fixed to the ground it gets.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you all for your presentations. Good luck, everybody. We would like to invite everyone to vote and comment. And for instance, now we have some questions on Instagram. For example, Swim Tana, he asked, how long, he asked, do Abrigar ao project. How long did you did you take to make the one-to-one scale model for your project?
Thank you for the question. First of all, so for the making of the drawing of each piece to the getting a wood producer to get us done with all the pieces needed, it took us a couple of weeks because it was not 24-hour work, but it took us quite a long time. But once we got all the pieces and the place to put them together, we took more or less seven minutes, because it was the first time ever we tried to build the pieces together, and also because we used the wood that we got to use at the time. So we really wanted to have a one-to-one scale model to deliver. So we really went for any type of wood we could put our hands on. So in this case, the wood was not 100% perfect for the job, but with all in consideration, 7 minutes was the time needed to put everything together.
Okay, nice. That's good to know. That's important.
It should be faster with time.
Okay. With experience of the constructors too. Okay, we don't have any more questions on Instagram, neither on Facebook. So maybe we just conclude. I will invite everyone to vote and participate in the free festival, Coordenado Art Fest, e-grants Wood Edition, that will be in Mação, in Portugal, from 28th September to 1st of October. The registration are open. You just need to follow the link in the comments or on our Instagram bio. And please feel free to contact us in case you have any doubts. Thank you all. See you on Norway for the Coordenado Art Fest, e-grants Norway edition, with the 2 Portuguese students from the winning project. And good luck also. Now, Teresa.
Yes, so now I'm gonna do the posts both on Instagram and on Facebook. I will explain very quickly how to vote. So there will be a post with this image, and then after this image there are the rules. So you just need to, everyone that has to vote has to follow these 4 steps, to follow our page, like the voting picture, and comment with your preferred group. And you can please use the names of the projects and tag 2 friends. And also you have to share the picture on your stories. The voting closes before midnight on the 29th of August. And yes, you have to follow all these rules for your vote to be considered. And we got some questions from some people, and we also have this picture on Instagram. You can vote as many times as you wish, as long as you have to tag more friends. And we will just add all the votes both on Instagram and on Facebook. And if your account is private, you just need to send us a print screen of your story, and that's it. So now give me just a second. I'm gonna do the post.
Teresa is doing this right now. On both Facebook and on Instagram.
Yes.
It's making the publication now. Maybe you can already find.
Yeah, we are waiting for some seconds. This will take a little bit, but that's it. Then you can find it there, and please vote and share with your friends, with your families. And then come to Coordenado to see the results of the winning project, and that's it. It's online. You can vote.
Yes.
Now.
Thank you very much to you all. Thank you, Sami Rintala. Thank you, Per Benson. Thank you all the students, Edward and Bernd. And we also want to thank you very much to the professors that lead the workshops and doing all the process, Maria Milano, Eleonora Fedi, Pedro Pinto Luz, Clara Duval, and also Camilo Rebelo. And we also want to thank the Associação de Estudantes, the Students Associations of AUP, and the Núcleos of Students of ISCTE, and also the enterprises from the Centro of Porto of Mação, Gran Norte, Agimadeiras, the Municipality of Mação, Senior University, and the Institute of Terra e Memória. Thank you very much, everybody, for all the support.
Okay. Thank you. See you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.